Good day, I am Mama Len, your Muppet teacher for today. Our lesson is all about the 20th century Filipino traditional composers. Before we proceed with our lesson, let's have an activity. Are you ready? Let's go! This activity is entitled Guess Sing. I will play the lyrics of the song and then you're going to identify their titles. Let's begin! Were you able to guess all the title of the songs? If you were, you'll have additional 2 points to get a perfect score. For your next activity, let's look the word. Find the words that you can associate with contemporary music. The clue, there are only 12 words. What were the words that you found inside the puzzle box? Was it easy or difficult? Upon guessing the words, I guess you already have an idea on what will be the topic in this lesson. It's all about the Philippine contemporary music. So what is contemporary Philippine music? Contemporary music in the Philippines usually refers to compositions that have adapted ideas and elements from 20th century art music in the West and musical styles in the entertainment industry. It is an ambiguous term used to refer to music that came up after the 1940s. What are the characteristics of contemporary music? These characteristics may or may not be all present in a single composition depending on the composer. Nevertheless, these are some considerations you need to know to be able to identify contemporary music. Number 1. Contemporary music makes use of harmonies that are dissonant most of the time. When you say dissonant, it means an unusual combination of sounds or clashing sounds. This can be seen a lot in metal, rock, or electronic music. Number 2. Contemporary music uses lip-vibrated instruments and percussion instruments. Lastly, Contemporary music uses electronically created or synthetic sounds. Now, what is traditional Filipino music? Every country in the world has their own traditional music. Filipino traditional music portrays the beliefs, customs, and traditions of the rural folks. Traditional music may be classified such as to glorify the beauty of nature, courtship music, or welcome songs. What are the characteristics of traditional Philippine music? First is the cantata form. A cantata is a vocal composition with an instrumental accompaniment and often contains more than one movement. Another characteristic that is exemplified is the use of a cappella. An a cappella song is a vocal composition without instrumental accompaniment. Lastly, the sonata form is used, a composition for one or more solo instruments, one of which is usually a keyboard instrument and usually consisting of 3 or 4 independent movements varying in key, mood, or tempo. These are the Philippine contemporary composers who use traditional styles in their compositions. Francisco Buencamino Sr. He founded the Centro Escolar de Señoritas, Conservatory of Music, and Buencamino Music Academy in 1930. His piano works have become staples in the Philippine repertoire of today's performers. He ventured into musical direction and scoring for films, composing zarzuelas and kundiman. Nicanor Abelardo, a 20th century modern composer, also a composer in the Romantic style. The Tanghalang Nicanor Abelardo Main Theater of the Cultural Center of the Philippines and Abelardo Hall of the UP College of Music are named after him. Francisco S. Santiago, the father of the kundiman, and belongs to the triumvirate of the Filipino composers. His music was romantic in style, incorporating Western form and techniques in folk materials. Antonio J. Molina, a product of both Romantic and Impressionist style, and also known as the father of Philippine Impressionist music, fascinated by the dynamics and harmonies of Debussy, but retained much of the Romantic style in his melody. Hilarion F. Rubio, a composer, music teacher, conductor, and clarinetist. His name was closely identified with his works for the orchestra, as a conductor of opera, ballet, and dance recitals, and his music for movies. Colonel Antonio Buenaventura. He recorded folk and dance music around the country. He restored the Philippine Constabulary Band in 1945, which is considered one of the best military bands in the world, declared National Artist for Music in 1988. Rodolfo S. Cornejo. He served as pianist director of the USO concert unit that entertained the Allied forces during the World War II. He later became the soloist of several orchestras and eventually the musical director of Sampaguita and Vera Veres movie companies. Felipe P. De Leon Sr., known as a nationalist composer who expressed the Philippines' cultural identity through his compositions. He wrote piano compositions, hymns, marches, art songs, chamber music, symphonic poems, overture, band music, school songs, orchestral works, operas, kundimans, and zarzuelas. Lucio D. San Pedro, known as a romantic nationalist, he incorporated Philippine folk elements in his composition with Western forms and harmonies. His chords have a rich expressive tonality. Was declared National Artist in Music in 1991. Rosendo E. Santos Jr., a prolific composer whose works include concerti, sonatas, symphonies, symphonic poems, 5 operas in the Philippine dialect, numerous band overtures, and over 200 marches. He also wrote 50 masses in Latin and 20 in English. Fredo S. Buenaventura. His compositions combine contemporary and conventional styles and contain melodies that are simple and understandable, while using contemporary harmonies that enhance their complexity. Raimundo Cipriano Ryan P. Cayabyab, a contemporary composer and conductor who spans both popular and classical worlds in his pop music, ballads, operas, zarzuelas, orchestral arrangements, masses, psalms, and choral compositions. His compositions are mostly traditional Western influences. To check your understanding, let's have some activities. Write your answers on a piece of paper. How is traditional music different from the music you hear today? Who among the traditional composers do you like the most, and why? See you next week on our MAPE class. Bye-bye!